I think we are live. Boys, how are we all doing? And girls, of course, and everything else. How are we all doing? Championship transfer roundup. We're going to look through the last week at, well, the main ones that have happened. There's not a lot of actual deals that have got over the line, really. I've only got 4 for big deals that have actually got over the line. But there's a lot of big rumours now. It's starting to razz it up a little bit. There is some stuff happening, finally, at long last. Also, little bumhole update, because we're all interested. I've only had 3 since last night. Come on. Let's go. We're on our way out with this shithole. Okay. Right. First up on today's agenda is Carlton Morris. We're gonna touch this one first because we addressed it on Thursday. Obviously with the Luton side of things being in League One. But Derby are slyly being linked to some very good players. Like I've seen them linked to a Barnsley boys, which we're obviously going to go to when we get into rumours near the end. But Morris is the first one I really like. I really do like it. I wouldn't really know what like the positions I'd say Derby need to improve on, because when Eustace come in, they were just completely changed, weren't they? They did just look better generally across board. And at the same time, when Eustace, the jobs that Eustace has had, the Birmingham side, I didn't really think excelled in any real position. And he had them, I know it were early doors, but he had them up in playoffs at the time. The Blackburn side excels in no position, really. And he had them in playoffs for majority of the season. There's an obvious reason as to why he's gone here, Eustace. And I think everybody were confused, including me at the time, on why would you leave a side that's top 6 for a side that were in bottom 3. Obviously, it's closer to home. Might be, I'm not joking, it might be 1% of the reason. Potentially 1% of the reason. More money. They're going to triple his wages, definitely. I bet he's on 20 grand a week, Eustace. Derby took some rate coin out. But the attendances that they've got as well, I don't blame him. Do not blame him. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. But obviously with the transfer budget that he must have been promised, if he's gone to Derby and they're saying, right, you keep us up and we'll give you 15 million quid or whatever it is to spend in summer, then I don't blame him at all, because this is a very good signing for quite cheap as well. You think forwards were an issue for Derby last season? They could only score from set plays. See, I can't remember, like, because I was covering everything constantly. Towards the end, it started to all get a bit merged, and I couldn't really decipher differences between anybody anymore. I needed we need a clean slate, and then to start again, because I couldn't tell you certain areas that people need to improve on off the top of my head now. And I could do it when I was doing reviews, but I can't do it now. But I really like this signing. I really do like it. And at the same time, it does fit that same thing. If they can only score from set pieces, it can still do that. You know what I mean? It's not like you're bringing in you're not bringing in Adam Armstrong, for example, a little fella that's just shit in air. Morris is good at everything. Seriously, very well-rounded number 9. There's absolutely no chance you sign 20 grand a week. I'll tell you what, I bet he's close. Mate, some of managers, for bigger clubs in Championship, some of managers on a lot of money. A lot of money. Looks like the only transfer at Wednesday for the moment might be Danny. We might be asking Barnes for free transfers at rate we're going up. Mate, if you get any of our players in, you're going to go down with lowest points tally ever. But that's one of the first ones out of here instantly. I genuinely reckon Eustace is on close to that. I won't see why not. I know Derby haven't got parachute payments and stuff like that, but I bet West Brom are paying their manager fairly close to that. Middlesbrough, I bet Middlesbrough are paying like 15 plus. If your average wage at your team is probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 grand, you'd think Derby, some of the hitters at Derby, you'd probably think of 20 plus grand a week easy. Maybe not 20. Maybe 15, but still, point still stands. How long are you seeing Eustace at Derby for? Oh, for a while, unless somebody comes and buys him out. Because Derby, I don't think Derby would sack him. They've obviously paid compensation fee for him. They must believe in him, and I don't see why you wouldn't. Look at the things that he's done at other teams that he's been at. He's a very good manager, Eustace. And also, I feel like managers are more wary of jumping ship now to go somewhere else. I think it takes a lot, really, other than just a wage. I think you need other assurances to move from one job to another. Because you know now, if you get sacked at a certain job, and I think Michael Duff's best example of this, or maybe like Paul Warren, for example. Yeah, we'll use Paul Warren because Derby as well. A manager that has consistently got promoted from League One on small budgets with small sides, but apart from Derby, And as soon you get sacked in Championship and you end up in League Two, Michael Duff's next job, after being very good with Barnsley, and then obviously with crap at Swansea, didn't really have a chance with Huddersfield after wiping his defence from under him. His next job might be bottom end of League One, because the amount of foreign managers that are coming in that are better than what the English managers are, mate, as soon as you get sacked at a Championship level, you're just falling so far down pyramid. So I think that it's just, you know what I mean? It's a big risk leaving a job that you're quite comfy at. Like another one, Musinho at Portsmouth. I think there'll be a lot. I think there'll be a lot looking at him, really, over the next couple of years. But I don't think he'd particularly leave because he likes where he is. He's going to be on a decent wage as well, and he's trusted massively within club. And you can probably get a bit of leeway if you have a shit couple of months. You can probably get a leeway at something like that. When's Rodoni coming to Everton, Cal? I honestly don't know because that was supposed to be agreed. Before playoffs even started, that was supposed to be something that were agreed in case Coventry didn't go up. So I don't know why it's not being done yet, unless something has happened. But that was supposed to be done. Right, Twanzebe. Oh, Derby have a chunk of the cash-in money left. That's a good point as well. I wonder if Derby could go back and loan for him. Do you think they would? Because he's not going to get straight in at Brighton, is he? He's still a young lad. He's like 22 cash-in. He follows me on TikTok. Famous. But he's going to be loaned out in it to a top Championship side. I reckon Derby could pull some out there. Defo. Morning said it. Yeah, well, it couldn't get worse really, but yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there. Right, Twanzebe. Yeah, one clean sheet is mad, but you can't blame individuals in a side really. Ipswich were very gun ho, weren't they? Maybe not as streetwise as you probably should be in Premier League, but there were never really a chance for any. Like looking back at it now, I know I said that Ipswich I think could stay up comfortably because of McKenna, and the amount of money that they spent buying best players at Championship comfortably, really, but that's just not enough anymore. So I think this is a good signing based on the long-term future of what Burnley are going to be, which is relegated this season and then fighting to get promoted again. And Twanzebe is a top Championship centre-half. So I think if they get Twanzebe on a free, and say if they then go for Tanganga for £1.5 million, mate, you've got two top draw centre-backs in Championship, plus a Stev, because he's going to leave. When you get relegated, he's going to leave. So then you're going to come down, inevitably, with a lot of money from the Esteve sale and Tanganga and Twanzebe. You know what I'm saying? One clean sheet describing Cal's bowel movements. All right, man. You'll get banned. Ban him. Mods, get him. I think this is good business. Very good business. I think it's quite... it's not biggest miss ever for Ipswich, but I honestly thought they'd keep him. I didn't think he'd leave. I thought they'd be able to keep him. But it's not a massive hit on a starting 11 position, I wouldn't have thought. There's still many positions. Like, he's been playing right back any a lot, Twanzebe for Ipswich. And maybe do that for Burnley as well, but I assume they'll just bring him into middle. Caleb Taylor's going to Millwall. I've not seen that, but that's a very good signing. He's a bit too play out front back, though, Caleb Taylor for Millwall. Normally they just go for big lumps, don't they? No clean sheets all calendar year. Hashtag cold. Let's just move on. I like the signing for Burnley, and also I don't think he's that big of a miss for Ipswich, which is the main thing, because this is a Championship review. So we are speaking about Ipswich. This is very good. Very, very good. Right? This is probably one of my favourite signings so far. Anywhere. And in fact, I'm trying to think of one that's actually better than this off the top of my head. Maybe some of the Huddersfield ones have been ridiculous, in fairness. Ryan Hardy to Wrexham's very, very good. What else has there been so far? Obviously, Murphy Cooper to Barnsley. Beat that. Never mind that left back until I can't remember his name. Ogbite. I don't know, mate. Holy shit. Baller. But this is probably one of my favourite signings so far. Also, as Oliver has kindly just pointed out, today's stream is kindly sponsored by Match Bingo. It's an alternative to gambling. Obviously, I've said before, come on, guys, you're on the football version now. It's like it's a bet builder mashed up into one in it. But they do like darts and stuff. They do more now. They do darts. I think they're bringing cricket out. There's a lot of different stuff for when season's off. It's like happy days. And if I weren't saving up for an house and planning to get a mortgage, I'd be doing it. but I can't because if I do it within 6 months, and then won't give me a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Not really selling it here, but it is very good. And if you deposit £5, you get £10 free in the top link in the description. So thank you, Match Bingo. Also, another quick thank you to Casual Gamer. Brother, thank you for the 5, my man. Loving the regular transfer roundups. Have a pint. Buddy, if I had a pint right now, I think I'd die. I'll take your £5. Thank you very much. Shake my hand. Kiss. I appreciate it. Love you long time. And such. I do appreciate it a lot, mate. Thank you very much. I'll be drinking on Tuesday. I go on holiday on Tuesday. I'm so gassed to go to Mallorca for a week. And hopefully, if my... I'm not going to say it again. If my bodily functions work properly, we'll be getting on it. So, thank you very much, Casual Gamer. Appreciated. I'll leave you on screen. Legend kiss. Right. Let's go back to this. So. Amadou and Bengu. Reading's defence was very, very good all season. Despite the stuff that were going on around that circus at time. Because it was, there were, like, obviously Wednesday are a certain level, aren't they? Barnsley are a level below that. But Reading were just ridiculous for years on years. And I still think defensively they were very good. Consistently. Obviously Bindon got a lot of the plaudits for this. Because he's obviously younger. But, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, this bloke's 23. But Bindon's obviously younger. I think he's 21. Or maybe he's 19, actually. Maybe that's why there was so much hype around him. He's got the Forest moves at Premier League. He's going to be loaned back out again to Championship, you'd think. Unless you're in and around squad for, like, European reasons and stuff like that. I could maybe see that. If they're in Conference League, you could defo start Bindon. Probably all the way through and win comfortably. Do you know what I mean? It'd be a good experience, that, rather than being at Championship. But still, Bindon got a lot of the plaudits. This guy's very good as well. And don't get me wrong, they got torn and Newen by Barnsley on last day of the season. We put 4 past these. So we're talking about 2 Premier League level centre-halves here again. Absolutely dicked on by Barry Cotter right wing. All-round ball. Oh my God. But he's very good. Very, very good. And the £1 million is the market value. I don't actually know what he's gone for. A lot of the figures that you see when I put them outside is the market value of the player. It's not the actual transfer amount that they've gone for, because it's all undisclosed in it. I don't think they should be able to do that, by the way. I think they should have to disclose it, because it's just a bit weird. Oh, why are you gatekeeping? Somebody's going to find out anyway. Why don't you just post it? It's very odd. But yeah, I really like this. QPR are onto something big. See, this is not this is a free transfer. I don't believe you. It's a free. Right, you've got to let me off. I've not been well. You've got to let me off. If it's a free transfer, that's absolutely outrageous. Right, can we just touch on this? What is QPR's pull? What's QPR's pull? They're linked to some outrageous footballers. Where's this money from? Are they banking on Eze being sold? Like I know Tottenham were interested in him, weren't they? And they're going to have a sell on. Are they banking on that? Is that what they're waiting for? Because I don't understand where they've got all this brass from. Like, who was QPR? I can't genuinely remember off the top of my head. Who have QPR actually sold? Yeah, Jimmy Dunn's staying. They've tied Jimmy Dunn to a new contract, which many higher up Championship sides, you'd think, could have brought him in. London is not enough of a reason. London's not enough. I'm sorry. I know you get hyperinflated wages anyway. Like Millwall are dropping 20 grand on players now. I know London is that in its own aspect, and maybe the pull of people that want to live there. God knows why. Really? They've not exactly. So Mickey QPR. I'm gonna take this guy's word for it. Not sold anybody. Where's this money coming from? Eze money will go into academy. Mate, it's like Liverpool with chuffing Coutinho money. This, the never-ending money. James Alcott, all right, man. CPS players, thank you for the £2, mate. What would you rate Preston North End transfer business so far? I like the frees that you've brought in, but I do think you'll have a very slow start. I think you could be really, really down in pits for the first like 5-10 games, because you've released a lot of players, haven't you? You have to bring a lot of starters in, so I do think you could start really slow. Plus, Preston got like quite an hard start from the fixtures wise. I filmed a vid that's going to come out today, actually, and it's like what I think the table will be like after 5 games. So I'll go through and put my results in for them all. And Preston, tough old start, mate. I know this ain't what you want to see, especially when you just chuck £2 at me, and I appreciate it. But, bro, tough old start, man. Tough start. But I do like the threes that he brought in so far. But it's a lot of players in at once. It takes time to gel, doesn't it? You can't just chuck 6 starters on pitch and expect them to just instantly know what they're doing with each other. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Kiss. I do like it. London, QPR top 10 at least. Owners minted Callum. FFP has been our only issue. You know when people say that, it actually makes me feel sick. Owners minted. So is ours, and he won't spend anything. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ridiculous. But yeah, I really like this signing. So if they're going to have this bloke and Jimmy Dunn next to each other, that's a top draw defence, that. Top draw. Chair, Dembele, PogU maybe, Kelman. If they keep him, I think they should keep him. I don't see why they'd sell him. Very good. Some very good players. It's shaping up QPR to be a serious side. And I don't know anything about this gaffer, so I can't comment, but people rate him as well. I'm liking QPR's business early doors. Then another one is Nat Phillips from Liverpool to West Brom. This is Mason's first signing at West Brom. Again, I wouldn't have thought the defensive side of things were an issue for West Brom, but I guess you can never have enough quality if there's players like that on show. It was very good for Derby last year. And also, I think being in and around Liverpool in general, like Freddie Woodman's gone there, Annie, as well. PogU's done. Why does this happen when I'm live and things that I've got are just made irrelevant? I've got a rumour thing, the next slide on PogU. What is the point? But yeah, being in and around Liverpool players and Liverpool's facilities. I know he's been out on loan, but in the initial couple of years, being in and around Liverpool's players and facilities and the coaches and the training standards and just the standards as a whole, mate, it's just got to make you better, regardless of lack of game time. For like first couple of years, really, he weren't playing every week. We're at Liverpool. He were coming in as and when required. But mate, you've got to imagine that this guy's just taking it to a new level, and he was very good at Derby, very good. I like the signing, I do. But maybe it's because Ajayi's gone. But even he were injured for a lot of last season at West Brom as well, weren't he? I wouldn't have thought that centre halves had been a position that they'd have been seriously like pushing for early doors. But West Brom have got a lot of money, haven't they? In fact, have they? I'd assume West Brom have got a lot of money. And that's a good signing. I think for that price as well, with the amount of experience that he's got, and he's still at an age where you can get like 4 or 5 years out of him, do you know what I mean? So you can go forever now, can't you, really? I like that signing. Derby just couldn't pay what West Brom were offering. What, wage-wise, Freddie? Phillips were class at Derby. Derby just couldn't pay what West Brom were offering. But I guess it depends what you're after, because if you can then go and try and get cashing back on a loan, happy days, isn't it? Right. So next slide is PogU. Fabrizio has just announced that PogU has gone to QPR, apparently. At one point, this has been this has been its own saga for ages, hasn't it? Right. Birmingham were interested at start. And Birmingham fans were telling me that they're not going to offer him X amount of money. I was telling you from start, if he were to leave, well, he were always going to leave. But if he were to go to Championship or Scotland at Rangers, wherever we're going, it were going to be on a fat old wedge, mate. It were going to have a lot of money being thrown at him. A lot of money. I'm surprised that Birmingham didn't actually push for it a little bit more. Really? I am surprised. Because Birmingham last season, and I've said this many times, Birmingham last season were ridiculous. Ridiculous. They never got out of first gear, and very few players actually gave them that much of a problem. Like Humphries for Barnsley did have him on strings a couple of times. Dunn were good against him. There were odd players. Charlton were good against him both times. But PogU will probably, obviously I'm not a Birmingham fan, so I can't speak for him, but I would assume from the way that they've spoke about him before and what he did against them in the games, that PogU were probably the best player that they saw against them last year. Obviously, when you can then get the bloke on a free at the age that he is, as a young lad, I'm surprised that they didn't push for him more. And they also, Birmingham need pace. Pardon me. They need pace, especially out wide and going forward. And he just fits. He's just perfect. He's so good. PogU is so good. 12 goals, 10 assists in 28 games for a side that finished like 6th bottom. Come on. He's ridiculous. That's a very, very, very good signing for QPR. Very good. Very, very good. Well, it's not like we won't be paying Demarai Gray a big wage, so clearly we were prepared to pay something. Yeah, that's a good point as well. That is a good point. But you'd have, like, Birmingham are just moving like they've got unlimited funds. So they must have actually just thought, like, now we can get better than this bloke. Which I would find hard to do, really, as far as Championship goes. I do think he's a top Championship player. I really do. He's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. His finishing's good. His dribbling's good. He's got that, like... I do think this is still alive in Football League. Not as much in Premier League anymore. But he's a player that can get you off your seat. And, you know, if you're quite flat, say if you're, like, drawing or something, it's 0-0, you're dragging into the game, crowd's gone a bit flat, and then you pass ball to somebody like this, and he can take 3 players on, do a couple step-overs, and everybody just gets excited and stands up. And I feel like that's quite limited in certain teams. And he would just give you that. QPR are going to be very exciting watch. Very, very exciting watch. I quite like him, you know. I'm liking these players that they're bringing in. That centre-half now, this. Very, very good. Very good. He'll be at Palace in a few years, mark my words. I could see that, you know. Yeah, I could see that. PogU's a good old signing. Good signing, that. Next. Speaking of. Demarai Gray. It's from Who? It's one of the L's. It's a Saudi side, obviously, that he's gone to. Right. I'm assuming his transfer value is 3.5. It's not just 3.5. It's 3.5 million quid. His transfer value. I don't know whether they can get him on a free or if it's going to be a loan or what the deal is there. But you're not going to be able to offer him anywhere near the wages that obviously is going to be on in Saudi Arabia. I reckon he's going to take a humongous wage cut just to come home. Because is he a Birmingham fan? He come through your side, didn't he? Bring him home. Yeah, I'm assuming so. I'm going to say, I can't remember him there, really. I remember him, obviously, at Leicester, were very good for a long time. Looks like you're getting him on a free. Yeah, he's going to... Thing is, he's made all his money now, isn't he? He's been in Premier League for best part of 10 years. He's been there forever. Transfer value, just 3.5 beans. That's all it is. They've released him. It's a free with 30% sell-on. That's absolutely brilliant business. Brilliant business. And he's a Blues fan. I bet he comes in on like 15 grand a week. Honestly. He's made all his money. Happy days. He just probably wants to come back, play in England for a start, but play for his side. It's a club that's clearly on up. Absolutely perfect. If that happens, which it highly likely is, very good. Very good signing. And again, well, speaking about PogU, very similar. Obviously, Demarai Gray's better in certain aspects. He's still rapid, isn't he? He's still got a bit of pace, despite being an old man now at 29. But I really like that signing. You've got to get lucky with certain things, though, aren't you? Do you not think certain aspects of football are just pure luck? Because if anybody else in this league wanted Demarai Gray, you probably have no chance. But because he's a Birmingham fan, you just get him. There's certain aspects, mate, of football that just can't be helped. That just actually can't be helped. Joe, it's coming up, mate. Do not worry. Dylan, appreciate it, mate. Thank you. £5. Hello, Callum. Hello, Cal. Hope your skiddies are clearing up. Thoughts on Gerard Struber's Sky Bet winning Reds love from the West Country. Kiss. Yeah, well, there were never any skiddies, mate. It was just pure liquid ass. But, thoughts on Gerard Struber's Sky Bet winning Reds. I respectfully don't think he'll get top 6, but I am a fan. I appreciate the 5, mate, but I don't think he'll get top 6. I think Lee's going to be harder. The Championship is going to be an harder league this season than what it were last. Maybe not to the extent of the top 3 that pulled away. But you know what? The point salary to get in 6th, that were quite a low point salary that Bristol City had to end up getting in there. And then they obviously got slapped anyway, so it meant nothing. But I do feel like there's probably like 8 or 9 sides that are going to be better than what Bristol City are. And I think 2 of them, well, definitely one. Birmingham are going to finish above. Wrexham are going to be in and around top 12. All 3 that come down. You've obviously got sides that underperform this season, like West Brom, Middlesbrough, that might have something to say. Norwich, Millwall. Who's another one? QPR, with like the signings that they're making. Swansea look quite good. There's a lot of good sides, mate. There's a lot of good sides. I hope you do it. Believe me, I hope Bristol City do it. I love Struber. And I quite like Bristol City, one at small, wave it flag for one at smaller sides. And you've never been in Premier League, have you? So I'd like to see Bristol City go up. And I think you'd know you'd get dicked about 24/7, but it'd be a good laugh anyway for ones that go to games. But yeah, my skiddies are fine. And I appreciate the 5 very much. Thank you, Kiss. Good man. And love from South Yorkshire, Kiss. I appreciate the 5, my friend, but you're not going up. Ethan Robson, thank you for £2, my friend. Thoughts on how Borough is going to do this season? I'm quite uninspired by Rob Edwards. Not going to lie. I'm quite uninspired. I could see Hatton getting some late interest. Like, you know, when season starts, it's going to be one of them ones. I could see maybe like a West Ham or something. Or maybe one at promoted side. Maybe Leeds or Burnley or Sunderland. One of them. Or Wolves. Maybe thinking, oh, we'll try a late one for Hackney. I think you did well to get the fee that you have for Tommy Conway off Millwall. I think you've done well. Oh, I forgot about that. Shit, I could have put that one in here. I do think you've done well to get that money for that. I think Middlesbrough will be top 10, but probably just miss out again. I do. Middlesbrough are another one that I feel quite sorry for. Because very big club that had a consistent going Premier League. I know they were in other year for a little bit, but not for a long time. I think it's very sideways, if not backwards, the appointment of Rob Edwards. And also, it just goes completely against what they needed to change. Coburn, same thing. Same thing, Finn. Like, Carrick were very stubborn and unable to change his ways. Rob Edwards is the exact same, but just with a different tactic. So you're going to have to get used to changing the style of play that they're going to use and then just not changing from it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold. And again, same reason for Bristol City. I think there's a lot, and I just said you as an example, but there's a lot of sides that I could see finishing above them. A lot of sides. But thank you for £2, my friend. And apologies for the answer. Look, _ again, mate, I see you in here all the time. Thank you very much. €6, man. Did you hear Paul Conway is in prison in Spain for the financial situation he created at Ostend? Yes. This, like, in case you haven't seen it, I did a TikTok on this, and again, if you've not seen it on Twitter, Paul Conway, this is a great little segue. Paul Conway is part owner of Barnsley, right? And he's part owner of the Pacific Media Group, which at the height owned 7 different football clubs at once. They owned Nantes in France, Ostend in Belgium, Esbjerg in, I believe, Norway or Denmark, maybe. They owned a few different sides, and he's in prison for 6 counts of fraud. Right, this is one of our owners. He's in prison for 6 counts of fraud. Because the way that, like, multi-club ownership's disgusting, right? And we've had to deal with this since 2017. We were sending a lot of our kids to, like, the Danish side that ended up getting relegated, like, 3 divisions. One of the sides at Ostend have gone bust completely. Nantes went from the top division side. Nancy went from the top division side in France to the 3rd. Like, they got relegated twice with them in chat, with him as a part owner. And then since they got rid of him, they shoved him out, and then they got promoted straight away. He's an absolute dog. He deserves the worst. I hope he's getting bent over and raw dogged by a big guy with AIDS, mate. I hope he gets the lot. I hate him. I absolutely hate him. He's a absolute cock. He's the bottom of barrel, one of the worst people to ever exist. He's awful. Absolutely awful. Anyway. little tangent there. But yeah, he's an absolute dog. And I hate him. But thank you for the 6. Look, very much appreciated. Like I think the way the main one that they went for is the Barter player. So there were 3 clubs of their ownership involved in this. They took one of the players from this club to this one here for a massively inflated fee, loaned him out to this one straight away, and then eventually sold him back to this one at like a half the price that they initially sold him for. Something like that. It's an absolute clown fest. But I appreciate the 6. Look, thank you very much. Charlie and Gurnan, why did I sound like a fucking yank? Thank you, mate, for the 5. What do you think of Coventry signing left back, and what else do you think we need in the window? Well, I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea about that left back. Like, absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. But I appreciate the 5. What else do I think you need? Cobb. I'm still not convinced by his striking situation. You know what I mean? Like, Sims is half decent, but I still think he could do better in that position. Obviously losing Patterson as well, but he was only coming off bench, weren't he? You obviously had a settled defence more it went on, didn't you, as well? I don't know. I really don't know. I think keeping Rodoni is honestly the best thing that you could possibly do. But I don't think you will. And I think replacing him could be quite tough. I can't remember the left back's name, to be honest. Charlene. I can't remember the left back's name. I appreciate the 5. And I think the best thing you could do is keep Rodoni. I'd like a new striker, really, if I were a Coventry fan. Because I'm not convinced on either of the ones that you've actually got. Where else could I see you improving? I like your wingers. I really like the wingers. I like the midfield. I like everything about Coventry. You look at the Coventry squad as a whole, mate, and you wonder how it's not just top 6 all time. When you actually look at it man for man, there's not many better than this with what Coventry have got. I do think you will get top 6 anyway. Like, you look at what you're actually doing with Lampard and the run of form that you had since bringing him in. It strips it back and keeps it quite simple, doesn't it? And I do think you will get top 6 comfortably this season, probably without any incomings anyway. I think you might go down the route of bringing in players that nobody's ever heard of, because this country is just expensive anyway, regardless of where you buy from, Premier League or Championship. They're on big wages, they cost a lot. I think you could go down the route of like what Sheffield United are doing, which is to go to like Bulgaria or something and pick up some lads that we've never heard of. I do think that's what you could end up doing. But as for a position, apart from a striker, I genuinely couldn't think of anything that you could improve on. Your squad's that good. It really is. But I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. West Bromwich Albion Blags, another one that I see in here all the time. Thank you for the 5, my friend. Caleb Taylor only going to the Den if they can pay £3.5 million. Only way is going, and David Brooks to West Brom. £3.5 million. I thought, no, there's no way. To be fair, I wouldn't understand the situation there. Because, like you're saying, maybe if you must know some stuff that we don't know, obviously. But I don't see why West Brom, and let's keep it a book here, West Brom and Millwall are 2 teams fighting for the same thing. They're both in and around, not good enough at playoffs at the minute. And as much as West Brom are a miles bigger club than Millwall, that is the situation for both sides. So I don't understand why West Brom would loan a Championship standard centre-half, which he is, Caleb Taylor, out to another side going for the same thing that could just improve their side. At the same time, I don't think this is very Millwall anyway. He's a very good centre-half, but I don't think it's very Millwall, Caleb Taylor. He's very good. His passing's very good. And I get, obviously, Millwall might go down a different route, but after they did that last time, we obviously saw what happened to them, and they were nearly relegated until Neil Harris come in. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a very Millwall signing, and it would make no sense for him to be loaned from West Brom to there anyway. Like you're saying, if they pay £3.5 million, that's something that I could actually see West Brom getting a fee for him. I can't see him loaning him out, personally. But I do think he should be starting somewhere. Maybe West Brom, maybe the West Brom don't rate him as much as like I do personally, or some other sides do. But it's a Championship standard centre half, and I could see him playing consistent football this year, whether it is on loan or being bought. Get your knob out of that, dog. But thank you. If anybody didn't see that comment, you just think I've got Tourette's. But thank you for that, West Bromwich Albion's vlogs. I see you in here all the time. You always donate. I appreciate it massively, mate. Thank you very much. OL, thank you for the 10. Oh my God. I'm so glad I stream. So glad I started doing this, honestly. Financial freedom. Bagged. I'm kidding. Thank you again, though. Guys, thank you for all donations. I appreciate it very much. You don't need to do it. Even though I'm speaking, I do just read your comments anyway. You don't need to donate. I do appreciate it massively, and I thank you all. I love you all. Genuinely, I love this is my job. I love it. Absolutely love it. This is the best thing I could ever do in my life. So I appreciate it massively. But you don't need to donate. You don't need to donate. It's not a requirement. I will just read your comments anyway. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you very much. OL, big fan of your work, Boyo. Thoughts on Chesney signing so far? League 2, I know, but would like to hear your opinions. Much love. Right, you put me on spot. Let me see if I can actually remember the Chesterfield signings that they've brought in. No, I know they've brought some good ones in. Let me get them on. Hold on, guys. Everybody calm down. Just a quick tangent on Chesterfield a minute. That's the one, Dylan McCandy. That's very good. Like, obviously some of the other lads, like this Sturk from Walsall, I ain't got a clue. Adam Lewis, no idea. Some of these other guys, I ain't got a clue. But that McCandy from Blackburn that were on loan at Leyton Orient, mate, I'm not being funny, he'd start for Barnsley. I obviously understand the manager situation is something that he could have probably brought him in for. But how these players drop so far down pyramid. I don't get it. I do not get it. I do think Chesterfield are one that, I've said this a few times recently on live, because you know when you actually start speaking to footballers properly, and I'm a very curious bloke, so when I ever meet him or speak to him, I ask him questions that probably a normal person just wouldn't ask, because I've got no filter. I don't think, I just say it. So I ask him like how it all works with the wages and stuff like that, and how much they're on. I literally ask them to the face, the lads I've spoken to before, how much they're on. And the way that they describe it in lower leagues, and like I said this other day on the League One, and I've said it before, but teams will budget $2,000. Let's just say, for example, $2,000 a week per position for defence, for midfield, for the keeper, and then once you get into your attacking positions, they've got triple the budget. They've got so much money to throw at attacking positions. Obviously, just thinking, well, goals win games. That'll get us out of this league. And the example that I always use is Rotherham with Johnson Clark Harris, because they've got no money for anywhere else on pitch, because they've got a striker that's crap, that's on, I think he's on 8-9 grand a week, something like that. They've chucked the majority of the budget, or a large chunk of it per week, at a striker that's shit, just thinking that he will answer that could get him out quite quickly. And it never works. It never ever works. Bristol Rovers were one that were doing it as well at one point. I don't think Chesterfield are like that, because they seem very well run. But that is an outrageous signing, that is. Like McCanday, mate. Outrageous. He's so good. Really good for Leyton Orient. I know he won't start in every week, but the attacking talent that Leyton Orient had last year anyway, we're never gonna. It was a very good squad option, and I'm telling you for a fact that he would come in at Barnsley and start 1,000,000%, until Jallo comes back injured, and then he'd put him on bench. But Chesterfield next season, apart from MK Dons, who look just a step above, Chesterfield are very, very, very good. They're looking good, Nick. But thank you, OL. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, boys, for donations. I appreciate it. Kiss. Love you all. All right, let's move on. What a segue. Let's just have a breather right now. You know what's bliss as well? I've not had a shit stopper tablet, and I don't even need one. Oh, this is the life. You know the relief of, like, you know when you're ill and you come out of being ill? Oh, is it not like best thing ever? Oh, God. And I'm like, it's one of the biggest highs you could ever get. Right, Baz. Little Baz. So, obviously the situation at Wednesday is just ridiculous. There's no there's no guarantee that the staff get paid again, which is ridiculous. As much as I want to laugh at Wednesday and take piss, which I do daily, not paying your staff is something that even I can't get behind. That's just disgusting. You know, normal people that have got mortgages and holidays coming up and just general life that are on $2,000 a month and not 15 grand a week. Mate, it's rotten. It's disgusting, that. It is disgraceful. Obviously, players, I find that quite funny, fuck them. But staff, come on, normal folk. It's not on. It's not on that. But as for little Baz, I mean, if people are saying that West Brom aren't interested. I know that Wrexham were at one point. I don't know if they are anymore. That's why I've not put them on here. Maturity gimmick, #cringe. Come on, man. West Brom were interested at one point, I saw. If people are saying that he's not, West Bromwich Albion vlog says he's not. It's alright, fair enough. Stoke, I think he'll stay at Wednesday, me. If wages aren't paid by Monday, anyone who could kick a football is walking away from him. Apparently, aren't they paid the players though? I thought they paid the players. I thought they paid everybody for last month. It's just obviously paid in a couple of days again. I think the staff are expecting to not get paid again. Or is that how it works? If you don't get paid on time 2 months in a row, then you can leave. Yeah, that's what I'm on about, Adam. Apparently, backroom staff have been told to prepare for June payment being late as well. I think he'll stay at Wednesday, personally. Obviously, they're going down the legend gimmick Wednesday. But I have never known a club legend at any club take a side as big as Wednesday are from Championship to League One twice. If that is legend status, bloody hell, how the mighty have fallen. But I think he'll stay here anyway. Like, I could see him staying this year, right? Getting relegated, obviously. And then in League One, they're not going to go straight back up either because they're in an absolute shit show. The maximum they can bring in players for is £7,000 a week, apparently. Mate, that goes completely against what Wednesday are. they've not got a clue how to pick up players on cheap. Absolutely no idea. They overpay for everybody and anybody. That's what they are. When they go down, they'll be in danger and just keep going. I said it before. I think on a Portsmouth arc, we'll just keep going, and eventually they need admin to save them Wednesday. And I do think once they get to like League Two or something, that's when there'll be something happening then. But for little Baz to go from Championship to League One twice and get a statue is absolutely outrageous. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, that's that. Right, next. This is quite a big one as well. This is quite a big one. We've got a lot to get through as well. I'm gonna like start razzing through them a little bit faster. We've got a lot to get through. Tommy Doyle. Right, just quickly. Wednesday could realistically fold. There's no way on God's green earth that Wednesday fold. Absolutely no way. Not a chance. Absolutely no chance. If they're going to admin, right, then that Wednesday things have got to get worse before they get better at Wednesday for them to get rid of him. They need to go into admin for then some interested party to come in and be able to pick him up for like 30 million quid, for example. They need to come in and get somebody for that. But the thing that I worry about with Wednesday is because the money's all owed to him personally and not the club itself, I don't know if admin could actually do anything about that. Could administrators actually come in and sort Wednesday out when the money is owed to Chancery as a separate entity to Sheffield Wednesday? You know what I mean? Also, the ground is under a separate thing. It's long. But they'll never go bust, either. They might end up going to like League 2. I don't even think they get to non-league. They might go to like League 2 and then something would happen. Properly. But anyway. Tommy Doyle. Right. Outrageous signing. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I saw it can now HMRC admin paid. Oh. But and they've got a couple of days for that still. So if they don't pay HMRC, so that's the tax in it. If they don't actually pay the tax for a year, then they can come in and do something. Right, okay. Not fair enough. They're a shit show, aren't they? You know what? Barnsley are in a state. But I always just think it could always be worse, couldn't it? And that's not an excuse to just accept anything that's shit happening in your life. But it could always be worse, definitely. Tommy Doyle, like I said before, our Lass's family is Sheffield United fans. If they got promoted to Premier League, they wanted to sign him. They wanted to sign this man if they got promoted to Premier League. So, but it's obviously he's not good enough for Wolves. But for a newly promoted side, I still think this would be a good signing. So for Birmingham to come and get him, mate, these are just ridiculous. Birmingham are making some stupid signings, which again I'm going to go on to here. I've touched on this very briefly before. Birmingham are willing to sell the best players coming through their academy because they're not deemed good enough anymore for them. Obviously, you could add Chang to this list as well. Alfie Chang, I'm telling you for a fact right now, and people have asked about Barnes and stuff, and obviously this is like old news now, realistically. Alfie Chang was in the building at Barnsley. He'd signed, everything were done, and then he failed his medical. We would sign him on a permanent, and everything were done, and he failed his medical. Right? It must be something to do with the injury that he got at Birmingham that Walsall obviously just don't care about. And if he goes somewhere else, he's still going to have the same things coming up on his medical, but other clubs might be more willing to take a risk on him than Barnsley are. We've paid out big wages for a long time on Benson, who was a very good player, but were never fit. We didn't want another situation like that. So, Chang's one. A very good player that's come through the academy. Going to be sold. Keeler has gone to Peterborough. Very good player that's come through the academy. Sold. George Hall, same again. Ramel Donovan, same again. Ramel Donovan's a different thing because he's gone to Brentford, obviously. And Birmingham fans were saying something about attitude problems and stuff like that. These are four players that, and I've said it before, traditionally teams would just loan out or try and integrate them into a squad. But Birmingham are moving way too fast for them to ever be good enough. Which, when you look at the players that they're actually linked with, Tommy Doyle, Damari Gray, and Kyogo were at Celtic. It's no surprise. Look at the difference in level. Like, I know these are kids, but these three on your screen are never, ever going to be at the level that these three are. Ever. They could have good careers. I'm assuming they're all going to have good careers, don't get me wrong. But for the right here and now, which is all that matters for Birmingham, really, you want to get to Prem as fast as possible. And then when you're at Prem, your academy's nowhere near good enough anyway. Mate, look at the level of these players they're linked to. It's outrageous. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. Tommy Doyle, Damari Gray, and Kyogo. I don't even know anymore. Right. We're gonna razz this thing forward a little bit. So, John Joe Shelvey heavily linked with a move to Hull. He obviously he had a leg injury for a long time, didn't he? For Burnley last season when he were actually there. He had 4 appearances. That's not for the full season, though, because obviously it was Turkey for the first half of the season. So it's not like he's had 4 games in a full year. He obviously played for quite a long time. For Turkey side. Oh, Trabzonspor, I think. The purple one with like blue TikTok symbol in the middle of it. But yeah, so he did play for the first half of the season a lot of it. Who wants Shelvey? You're joking, mate. Keep him fit. He's a player. That's just pure class, John Joe Shelvey for Championship, mate. If Barnes went Championship, I'd 100% have somebody like this. Finished football? No way. If you can keep him fit, which is the biggest struggle, a good player there. I disagree with you all on that one. I think that's good. This is a big one. I need another drink. My mouth's going like cotton mud. So Blues will win it league then. I think he'll be up there. I think he'll be top 6 easily. Easily, mate. Seriously, I think you could push top 2. If Ipswich did it. I don't know, Ipswich were better than you. I'm not going to take piss. But you're going to spend more money than they are. That's a good point. What CJ Gaming has just come out with. John Joe Shelvey is 5 times better than Bannon is now. Good point. Very good point. Right, Josh Sargent linked with Leeds and Burnley. I did a video with Conor McGilligan. If you didn't know it, you should know. He's a Leeds fan. Not from... He don't live in Leeds, though, obviously. Bloody hell. I hope he sees that. He's going to buy it, 100%. And we did a video on his channel, and it was one transfer that every Premier League side should make. And I said Josh Sargent for Notts Forest. Or Nottingham Forest, apologies. I said Sargent for Forest. Maybe not to start every week, but as for squad depth, because Chris Wood just cannot play every minute of every game, and I don't think he'll have as good a season as he did. This bloke is the best striker in the league by a mile. By an absolute mile. And I do think the league is quite scarce of top-end strikers. I really do. None of the 3 that went up have got a striker that hit like 25 goals, for example. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, they're still like good players. Like Fleming's a good striker. Campbell's alright when you keep him fit. Pirou's alright. Mayenda's obviously very, very good, but he's more of a winger, if anything, isn't he? Like, your better strikers are at West Brom, where Madger, Sargent, at Norwich. I really, really, really do like Sargent. I think he's a complete number 9. I think he's perfect for a newly promoted side. And again, you've got to be realistic with what's going to happen. You're going to get relegated. All 3 are going to come straight back down. So you might as well have best striker in the league for when you do it. And if not, say worst case scenario, which is what this is going to be. Sargent comes in, he has an absolute blinder, you get relegated, and you just do what Ipswich have done with Delap, you just sell him. And then just go and buy the other best striker in the league. It's a never-ending cycle, and if you keep on top of it, you can just keep going boing, 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 boing. Which I think Burnley have mastered the art of doing that, really, now. Pissed the league, first time, relegated straight away. 100 points, they're going to get relegated straight away, but they're bringing in Twanzebe, the link to Tanganga, the link with Sargent. They know what they're on with. But Burnley aren't daft. But that's a very good sign if anyone bring it across. Ali from Luton. This is one that I'm not seeing. I can't lie. With the level of clubs that it's being linked with, I'm not seeing it. I'm really not seeing it. You saw like your first home game in 2 days versus Ipswich is going to be cracking. Well, I don't want to get away because obviously it's a video that's coming out later. But I think Birmingham are going to have a flying start, me. I really do. That'd be a great game. On Sky and all. We're doing a watch along for that shit. Oh my God, I'll be excited for that. But Ali is a good player. He was good at Exeter. He was good at Luton. But why the hell some best sides at Championship are looking at him? I ain't got a clue. Seriously, I'm not seeing what other people are seeing it. I'm really not seeing it. Good player. I'll say it again. Good player. The Ali rumours are fake. All right, we'll just move on. Right, this is the last one. Oh, my skin's itching. Right. John Russell, Barnsley midfielder, is linked to Derby, Oxford, Blackburn and Stoke. It felt inevitable. Obviously, he's gone to Gold Cup with Jamaica and been one of the best players. So they got knocked out, but he was still very good. He's got double figures for goals from actual central midfield. It's not like people that look at the Barnsley midfielders, you look at like Connell as a 6, for example. Phillips is an 8. No, Russell is an 8, and then Phillips is more a 10. Phillips is normally the furthest forward, and he'll get you most goals and assists, which he does traditionally. But Russell is the most box-to-box midfielder you've ever seen, and he's got 11 goals for a side that were this crap this year. He's very good, physically immense. I'm not gonna lie, he is a monster. Phillips, he's Russell. Why do I keep getting mixed up? Russell's a monster, and he could definitely hack it in Championship, 100%. He were hacking it in Championship for Huddersfield. Weren't he like a starter for Huddersfield when they got to Championship playoffs? You know, they lost to Forest. I'm sure we were a starter most weeks. They sold him to us. And if he didn't have a year left on his contract, we'd be getting him for stupid money. We'd be getting stupid money, because Barnsley's owners are quite good at that. If nothing else, they're good at that. But £1 million with a year left on his contract, I think is the most likely outcome. And I think he's the most likely to leave. I think a lot of people saw this coming really anyway. With a year left on his contract, Connell and Phillips have got 2 left each. And obviously Dunn's not going to leave unless he gets £5+ million. So this was always the most likely one to happen. And he can definitely make the step up. Technically, he's a very gifted footballer. Good in air. I really like him, J. Russ. I really, really like the bloke. He's one of the few lights in a very dark period for Barnsley. And if he does go, he gets my blessing. He deserves it. But I would love it if we kept him. Absolutely love it. Don't think we will. And his owner's a cock, so we will sell him, and then it'll just go in his. It'll just be more money to go to his owner's Mumbai penthouse. Happy days. Oh, but I think that's it. If we cycle back round once more, yeah, it is. Boys, shut up, John. Boys, absolute pleasure. Love you all. Thank you for being here. I feel half decent. Oh my god, I'm feeling like a 6 out of 10 instead of like a 3. My head still feels a bit wobbly, but we're getting there. If Barnsley sell Dunn, they're getting relegated. Yeah, but we're not gonna, because they want £5 million at least. So it's not gonna happen. So why speak about if, buts and maybes when I do absolutes? Boys, anybody that's donated, I appreciate it massively. Thank you as always, boys. I love it. Thank you. Kiss. Very kind of you all. Only just got here for fuck's sake. Oliver, just wait for it to end and then just rewind it, bro. You know what I mean? Enjoy Mallorca, mate. I will. There'll be a live, one last live on Monday. There'll be one last live on Monday. What about Millwall? I forgot about the Coburn signing. I think you've overpaid, respectfully. Good signing, but massive overpay. But boys, love you all. Kiss, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe if you do enjoy. I appreciate it. That's the joke, Tom. Bloody hell. Enjoy it, Bog. I'm not going. I'm just going to shit my pants instead. Love you all, boys. See you in a bit. There's videos coming out, obviously. There's a video coming out today, but the next live will be on Monday before the holiday, so I will see you then.